Welcome back to the channel. Well, I was going to buff all the Kawasaki's bodywork and just leave it. I thought it might be good enough, but I had a couple of hiccups. I didn't think it would come out that good, so I painted the front fender and I got the bottom painted. So I do need to get this front fender back on this bike because, as you can see, I can't really move the bike until this is back together. And it's a real squeeze between these forks. So I thought I'll buff this, and I buffed a little bit of the, see a little bit of shininess here and along here. So I don't want that to fall over. So this part is just doing a lot of body work. And tomorrow we're going to take care of the rusty gas tank on the inside. So we're going to flush that out and neutralize it, and then like the neutral zone, then we'll put some of this in there, and this thing should be ready to put the new petcock on, and well, it'll be ready to get painted. So that's where we're at, doing some body work. Let's go. I couldn't get the fender off. You got to take the wheel off. And I don't have a 12mm Allen, so I just ordered one. I should be able to get it tomorrow because I need to buff the wheels with some buffing compound. See how they look kind of, I've cleaned them twice. They just don't look so hot. And I'll buff these at the same time. Buff that and polish it. Then I'll probably have to do the same thing on the back wheel because they just look crappy. And any exposed frame, I'll do that too. I did it on this bike. And look at the difference. Looks shiny. You know, down tube's looking pretty good. So I'll just have to wait on this. The lower belly pan, there's all kinds of scratched up. I've pretty much sanded it down. I had a little, look at that. I had a little tiny bit left of a can of primer, so I just used that up. It's really, really bad. There's a lot of marks in it. I don't want to take too much time, but I certainly want to fix a lot of this. So I'm going to finish spraying it. It's a little windy right now. And then I can start putting a little Bondo, spot putty, blah, blah, blah. You've been through this before, right? And get the old chin spoiler looking good. Now you can really see the marks in it. It's a lot of body work to do on this thing. A lot right there. I don't know if that's coming out on camera, but you can sure see it there. Wow. Alright, we're spot puttying the chin fairing. I'll probably use Bondo on these deep ones. It's a little too deep for spot putty. Good morning. Alright, I'm about ready to, I wet sanded this, I'm about ready to prime it one more time. We'll probably go over it one more time with some putty. Then I want to paint this before it gets too hot. Alright. Do a once over and that's it. So if you're wondering what it takes to get the front wheel off on a Kawasaki, you need a 12mm Allen, which came yesterday. And for these front ones, the size is, here, let me, is it written on here? What does that say? Let's see if I can read it. I think it says 6mm. It looks about 6mm, so a 6 and a 12. That looks a lot better. Okay, I'll move it onto this front wheel. As you can see, it's so flat looking. I did it just real quick here. I just want to do this area and this area. I'm not going to do all of this. I'm just going to do this area here. I think it looks a lot better. Well, I couldn't seem to make this fender look good by buffing it. So I'm going to paint it tomorrow along with this guy here. And if they come out good, well, I'm probably going to paint the rest of the bike in the same manner. I'm going to use this, and this I can buff after a week. So there is a little body work to do on this. But other than that, like, there's maybe a little spot putty with the sides of this bike. Not a lot in the way of body work. So I got to kind of bite the bullet. I tried buffing it, but it just doesn't look very well. You can see how it looks. So we're giving up on that. I've got some good results with spray cans. It's just all your prep. It's all the prep work. There's somebody who needs some spray bombs. Oh, it's a beautiful morning. And it's a beautiful morning to paint a fender and a fairing lower. So I'm going to give this a wet sand. And hopefully it looks like the wind has picked up a bit. Why does that always happen to me? This paint goes on really good, really good. I've had this handle for, I don't know, a few years. I've never used it. I will use it constantly now. It's awesome. So here's the lower fairing. I think it came out pretty good. It was wretched. It had like grinding marks in here and drips and stuff. And here's the front fender. I was hoping I could just buff it, but after I buffed it, it seemed to get cloudy again. So I think it looks pretty good for like enamel. I could almost leave it, but maybe buff it. Definitely give it a light buffing. So there's where we're at. I don't have much primer left. It's going to come tonight. But what I want to do is just shoot some primer across here so I can start my spot putting of little dings and stuff. So I'm just trying to be Vulcan logical. Now this stinks because see how it's flared up there. So it's flared up. I'm gonna try to use my knife and cut that down. I want to do as little body work here as possible. I'm just gonna try to use my knife. It's a real knife, and just kind of cut that edge down. I got some Bondo coming, but I won't get it till tomorrow. So all those long side covers over there, I'll get some spot putty on them. And then tomorrow that gets cleaned out. Although I could take off that Kawasaki decal. Ugh, not looking forward to that. Maybe I'll do that today. Okay, I tried to etch around the side with a razor blade and heat the decal, but it's it's old enough that it just kept breaking. So I taped it around. You can still see some tape here. And I used 150 to get most of it. You don't want to, you want to keep a 150 scratch as confined as possible. Because you know, it's the sanding, the spot putty, the primer. So I'm going to go do the other side like this. And then I'll maybe use some 220 on this guy. Just to make it uniform. And then I'll primer over it. Tomorrow we're going to clean the inside and seal this. So, yeah, good times. Remember the old days? Kawasaki just had a Kawasaki name on the side. It wasn't all decals. Bikes have changed a lot nowadays. Just to get to the spark plugs, you got to take the bike half apart. But not on these old bikes. The tank is getting the rust out tomorrow, but I just wanted to get the stickers off, and I thought I'll throw some primer over there, and I'm probably going to sign out because I don't want this to be too long. You know, these projects, they just seem to go on forever. So with that, see you tomorrow. Hey, lizard.